welcome to yet another episode of Paid to Talk with Lee Hart and Loba Denoche, live from the Eco Lodge once again. Beautiful, beautiful smell, Lee.
Yeah, no, it's that wood. I'd had it stained recently, and you can really tell.
Yeah, it smells more like diesel. I'm getting a bit
well, it's a cheap stain, but it'll soak into the wood. It's fine.
It's very
Obviously, paid to talk. We're paid to talk. You're not paid to listen or watch, but we certainly hope you do. What's the show all about? It's a guest show, really, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's hard-hitting questions. It's getting the guests in, drilling deep.
That's right. I think my favourite shows, Matt, if I could bring myself back in for a moment there, are the people that have turned their passions, if you like, into their lifestyle. Kind of like we have with this show.
Geez, we're setting up really, really nicely here. And
I'm just kind of trying to milk out the time a bit, that's all.
Yeah, because we do have to at least 25 minutes.
The last bit sort of rushed.
Contractually, we have to.
I'm talking about, of course, Riley Elliot. And if I just read that, this is a book I got from him a number of years ago now. It goes, "One Kiwi man's mission to save our most feared and misunderstood predator." Of course, I'm not talking about the pedophile. I'm talking about the shark. Riley, welcome to the show. Great to see you again.
Cheers, lads. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that's over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spoke to your son's school, and you were there along with a whole bunch of other celebrity dads. That school must cost a lot, but
I think I was probably the main celebrity dad. I didn't notice any others myself.
Depends who else was there.
But I'm glad he still got it, and thank you for having me.
Let's just start from the beginning. As I said, you have turned your passion into a career, but before the Sharks, did you have obviously a passion for the water or the sea?
Yeah, I was born in Vancouver, Canada, surprisingly. I mean, that's why I sound like I'm from Gore, actually. A few rolling R's there. But yeah, I was always a nature kid, and coming to New Zealand, we're surrounded by a lot of water. Grew up in Hamilton, like as landlocked
what
as you could
to
be.
New Zealand though?
My mum was Kiwi,
Okay.
and they thought it would just be better if we grew up as tall poppies in a smaller place and took that expectation to the world. Yeah, I'm happy because Canada rains too much, and the only fun time there is snowboarding. But New Zealand's been a great place to grow up.
And how do you turn into the Shark Man?
Your friends call you it for some reason, it sticks. Your parents get your personalised license plate, and you just look like the egotistical dickhead that called himself the Shark Man. But
When I say a passion for the sea, was it like surfing, fishing, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it
What
was
makes you
surfing.
want to get in the water?
surfing mainly. Growing up in Hamilton, I surfed raglan a lot, and there's only so long you can sit on your surfboard without wondering what is underneath you. And obviously,
about it, yeah.
the boogeyman's there. In
It's
your
probably
head.
the one thing that's put me off starting surfing, other than my physique.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and am I right in thinking that originally you actually had a fear of sharks?
I still am afraid of sharks. Like, I think it would be stupid not to be. I mean, they're a very capable animal. Would you be afraid of an alligator, a crocodile, a lion? Yeah, you should be. It's like how you react to that fear. It should
Yeah.
be like through respect and seeking understanding of it. And I guess that's what happened was, as a surfer, rather than just using naivety and leaning into that, I was also a budding marine biologist. And so it'd be hypocritical not to try and learn about something you
exactly.
didn't understand. That's where the fear comes from, not understanding it.
So you had an interest, I suppose, in all sort of marine life as a marine biologist, and you sort of honed it into sharks.
Yeah, like you can't go to uni and start studying sharks. You do Bio 101. You start broad and you narrow it down. I started with dolphins, ironically, in Fiordland. That's what I did my honours and my masters on, was bottlenose dolphins.
Okay.
Which, they're 5 meters long in there. The biggest in the world in Fiordland because it's so cold. But it didn't quite itch the scratch. I was still surfing a lot in Dunedin and great whites down there. And one day I saw a shark and I fucking shat myself.
Was it a great white? You think, down
No,
there?
it was a 1 foot long school shark. But that was the level of fear that is built into most of us. And because I was diving Fiordland, it was a deep, scary place. I literally pissed my wetsuit and was like, oh my God, I don't know anything about these animals.
But aren't you supposed to piss in your wetsuit anyway before you go out, just for the warmth?
Yeah, to keep you warm as
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it is a good strategy, and it's been tested. It doesn't actually attract sharks, so pee away my things. Yeah.
Okay.
So bleeding does attract sharks, but peeing does
Nah,
not?
bleeding doesn't even either. We've done a lot of tests with human blood. Sharks are so attuned to like the smell of fish, mammal, their prey blood, not our blood.
Is that right?
So bleed away too. Yeah.
Tell me about South Africa. Then you go to South Africa to help overcome the fear of, say, the bigger sharks, your great whites.
Yeah, basically after that 1 foot school shark scared the shit out of me, I went back to uni and there was a flyer on the wall that said, come to South Africa, learn about great whites. I was like, well, shit, there we go. That's the Jaws character. That's what I'm afraid of. And I went there and did an internship, and just the first time you see a great white, you just you're flattened. It's awe. It's
So take us
amazing.
through that. You're in a cage or something, and you go down and
First on the boat,
Yep.
we're doing research, so we're doing photo ID, tagging them, learning their behaviors, and then some cage time, but that came much later. And it's satisfying enough to see these animals from the surface, but it is that next level, getting in with them. But over in South Africa, I also did a lot of diving, learning how to dive without cages with other species. You don't start with the great white, you start
Yep.
with like your schooling sharks and whatnot. And eventually came back, finished my master's, and then went back to South Africa to help run that place. And, that's where I started bumping into some of the idols I had from Discovery Channel Shark Week, people
yep.
like Brandy Casagrande, the great cameraman. And that's where I was like, holy shit, that would be really cool to do.
I remember thinking way back, I think I'm older than you guys, in the 70s, there was a Aussie family.
Valerie Taylor,
Yeah,
Ron
the
and Valerie
Taylors,
Taylor.
yeah. They used to be in the documentaries, the sort of Cousteau era sort of documentaries. And I think Rodney Fox as well as a
Yep.
guy, I think, who was attacked.
Yeah.
And by a great white, who brought a lot of media attention, obviously, to shark attacks. And probably around about that time, the movie Jaws probably came out.
Yeah. So those trifectas, like Rodney still runs shark cage diving in Australia to take people from that fear to fascination, to
Right,
show
okay.
them what great whites
Yeah.
are about. But yeah, they also do attack people on rare occasions, and they are feared. And South Australia's just going through a cluster of shark attacks right now, which are always tragic.
Yeah, you look like you've got all your limbs intact. Have you had some close calls though with some sharks?
Yeah, I mean, I look back before having a kid and like just the kind of, I wouldn't say renegade shit I was doing, but like free diving with 40 tiger sharks in Norfolk Islanders. They're tucking into 10 dead cows and no one had ever swum with them before. And I'm swimming around spear tagging and tags and got away with some stuff. But like, to all due respect to the sharks, they know what they're doing. It's only if you start making mistakes and putting yourself in positions you shouldn't be that a shark might make a mistake itself.
You almost have to put yourself out there, especially in this visual era.
It's like dating.
Yeah, or dating. You've got to really put yourself out there to get the awareness of the sharks. And to get those sort of pictures, get amongst them. Look at that guy next to that massive shark.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's dangerous. But you're also saying they're misunderstood.
Yeah, I think there's a balance. Like I was told by mentors who've been doing this for 40 years before social media that were like, look, man, you want to be here in 30 years, take baby steps. Because those guys grabbing sharks and doing stupid shit on YouTube, they might not be here in like 2 years. Whether because their luck ran out or people's interest in what they were doing ran out. But look, a great friend of mine, she's in that book, ironically. I was in love with her at the time because who wouldn't be back there when you're 20 years old. And then I met my much better wife afterwards. Ocean Ramsey's show is out on Netflix, and it was
There's a
about
chat
her
to hear
life.
about her.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw her in the moonlight. Her breasts glistened in the...
I don't actually know what I wrote in there, so that could be there.
Just made that up. It's not... But...
No, but her whole Netflix show is about that. Like, she was the one that was famous for riding that great white shark by its dorsal fin, and then like putting herself out there with swimming with sharks. So people would ask the question, shouldn't she be getting eaten? And when she wasn't, that enables exposure for the shark and what they're really all about. I think you need moral substance, and substance is what you do, to stand the test of time. And doing shark work for now 20 years, it's always been my science has been the foundation. Like to answer questions for water users, for the conservation of sharks.
Yep.
But I always say to people, like, it's naturally dramatic working with these animals. You don't have to make up bullshit or over dramatize something. Swimming with these animals or working with them is very, very naturally dramatic.
Well, tell you what, we might just take a break there, man.
Yeah, we'll take a break and be back very shortly.
And we're back on 5, 4, 3, and we're live. Just joining us, we're talking to Riley Elliot, the Shark Man. Hey, look, we've been talking about the great white. Obviously, it's the top predator. He's the big box office hit, the old great white. But there's other sharks, of course. Do you have as much fascination in them, like your blues, your tigers?
Your Marco.
Yeah. I did my PhD on blue sharks.
Your hammerhead.
Yep. That was intense, but yep.
Yeah, your megalodon.
Yeah, your megalodon doesn't exist anymore, but Discovery tried to make
Your
it still was.
mantas.
Yeah, they're out here in the Hauraki Gulf as well, which is cool. The Marco shark, I think,
Your
is one of my
tiger.
favorite. Yeah, keep listening. There's 500 of them. We could keep going. Well,
Your grey nurse.
Yeah, grey nurse. Yeah.
The wet nurse.
Wait, no, it's just a nurse, isn't it?
Well, I think
Yeah.
all sharks are wet, man.
Yeah.
I think if you did any study, you'd know that. You mentioned the megalodon. That's a car, isn't it? Isn't the Holden megalodon?
No,
that's...
no.
No,
Is it?
Oh, the megalodon is
Quite
that
different.
massive...
Massive great white. 3
Extinct,
times the size
thank
of great
God.
white. Extinct because what it ate were whales and they went extinct through a mass extinction. But the great white survived. Longest existing animal on Earth.
Speaking of which, biggest great white you've seen?
Like 6.5 meters, which is up there. I mean, but it's the width, the girth that blows you away. Like,
Is that the length of this room before I got the extension? I mean, because that's not certified, that extension. I wish I had brought it up.
Don't turn the camera
So
on.
beyond that,
And then
that's
it was-
big.
okay.
It's a big fish. Well,
Either
not
way,
a fish,
either
big
way,
shark.
it's big,
Yeah,
bloody
as
shark.
round as a bus, like
Yep.
massive.
Is it true that there's some shark species that can live for hundreds of years?
Yeah, the Greenland shark.
Jesus.
Because they've got such, it's cold water, they move slow metabolism, boring as shit.
Your
life, it
whale
sounds like.
shark. That's another one, isn't it? It's the
Doesn't
big-
live as old, no. It's more like, the deep sharks tend to live older.
Speaking of what you do for a job, you've been doing a lot of tagging of sharks, okay?
Yeah.
This might seem like a stupid question, but how many sharks have you tagged, say, relative to the estimated population?
1% maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was
Yeah.
kind of hoping that, we
That
could
you
get
can look on the app that I've got, and you can know where
sweet.
every single shark is. No. So we tagged 15. There's probably 4,000 in the
Okay.
New Zealand Australia population. It's expensive work. That's why sample sizes are so small. It takes a long time to find them, to tag them. But don't rely that
totally.
every shark that you see on the app is where every other shark is.
Yeah. And is it true that the shark population's plummeted in the last 50 odd years?
Yeah, well, like scientifically, there's a paper put out like in the last 50 years, we've lost 70% of the large sharks. So there's only 30% of large sharks left on Earth.
And that's mostly due to humans?
Single-handedly due to humans. It's overfishing, it's killing for, Jaws' sake back in the day, but mainly it's just bycatch and fisheries and the overfishing of fish stocks that we're starting to actually eat those sharks that are largely caught as bycatch. And, it's not good news for the ecosystem nor us, because sharks are actually poisonous to eat because of heavy metals.
You mentioned earlier off air that in South Africa, orcas are killing in quite a few sharks. Is that a relatively new thing that they're going and they're doing that, and why?
Yeah, it is. I think it's relatively new in that we're observed it in such a hot spot like South Africa. They go in and just rip out the liver and just eat the liver, and that's what they do with most of their prey.
A bit like the Japanese.
Yeah, I guess eating, I don't know if they eat just the whale liver. I don't actually know what they
They
eat.
go
of
to the
those things,
fin,
but-
don't they?
Shark fin.
Oh,
Isn't it
you're
shark
talking
fin?
about Chinese more so.
Oh, the
yeah,
Chinese, right,
Not to
yeah.
pigeonhole a culture, but
I'd
generally
like
it's
to
Chinese.
apologise to our Japanese
Yeah,
viewers.
sorry,
yeah,
I
racism
didn't think we were
here,
talking about whales
unfortunately.
then, but
Don't know how we
yeah.
know
No,
that.
shark fin soup, yeah, that was the big driver, but
But why are they suddenly going in there? Is it migratory sort of? Have their food chain?
yeah,
been
that's a big
adjusted?
question. I mean, in New Zealand, orcas eat sharks every day. They eat stingrays, that's a shark. They eat marker sharks. It's just whether you're observing it or not. But that was novel that 2 orcas solely went into South Africa, murdered a whole bunch of sharks, and they all vanished. And now they haven't come back. And why is the big question. But why did orcas start attacking boat keels in the Mediterranean? Like something
totally.
had pissed them off. They're very hard to pick animal because unlike a shark that's a mechanism, an orca's very emotional and almost human.
Being a mammal, yeah. Do you have an interest in orcas being a sea creature, but being a mammal?
Yeah, I think obviously sharks is what I've done, but like orca would be pretty wicked animal to study. But I'm very respectful of animals I don't understand. Like I'm scared of horses. Because like you just know that they can read you, like they can sense your fear. They would literally walk over to you to prove it, and so I just stay away from horses. Orcas scare the shit out of me. I've jumped in with them a couple times, and you see what they do with their prey. Like they're malicious, like flicking
play with
dolphins
it,
in the
yeah.
air, and you're just like they haven't killed anyone in nature, but like you're like if they did, they'd do it pretty quick.
Your makos. What shark? A lot of Kiwis probably want to hear this. We're a country that loves the sea, be it surfing, swimming, fishing. What shark are you most likely to have an unfortunate encounter with?
Well, it depends what you mean by unfortunate. You mean like which one is likely to bite you in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Not many of them, to be frank. I mean, there's been 2 in 20 years. The great white's obviously the most dangerous, but you got to swim in cold water generally to run into that one. And around seal colonies and dress up like a seal, as surfers silly do, like myself.
I'm actually going to quote you there
yeah.
on your book. There are some fairly simple rules to follow if you want to avoid meeting up with a great white. Don't dive at dusk or dawn.
Yep.
Don't spend unnecessary amounts of time floating on the surface. Don't dive around seal colonies or areas where chumming or fishing activities are occurring. I mean, that makes common sense.
Yeah, common sense generally. And like, to be frank, the shark that most of us overlap with is bronze whalers in summer.
Okay.
Like, they're relatively harmless. They eat fish. And unless you fillet your fish off the wharf and then kids do bombs right on top of that,
Yep.
you're not going to run into problems. But unfortunately, in places like Waiheke, they're doing exactly that.
And it's the splashing and that
Well,
kind
people
of...
filleting their fish in a bay, like, oh, look at all these sharks, cool, cool, cool. And then next minute, Bob Jones, drives up and his kid jumps off the boat to go for a
Yep.
bomb and splash,
Yep.
feeding a dog under the table. So, yeah, sharks don't attack people. People just stupidly overlap with feeding
Yep.
situations, and that's when you can get bit.
Shark Week's been a huge phenomenon, I suppose. How long's that been going now?
37 years.
That long?
I think it's the longest running series on Earth.
So it meant that must have been great for your career in a way. I mean, it's certainly given a platform for TV shows that you've been making.
I've been doing it for 11 years now, and what started as me just presenting some random show with some random celebrity, I now get to write, produce, present my own shows, which
Yep.
gives a lot of control of ensuring there's good substance and science in those, because Shark Week is a spectrum. At one end, there's fucking jackass.
Sensationalism, yeah.
Yeah, and the other end, luckily, they let us, use science to tell stories and address issues. But, I mean, it's a massive megaphone. 30 million people watch it in America every year, hundreds of millions around the world. And some scientists, try and give me shit. You're not a real scientist because you're
Yep.
on Shark Week. But if you don't use that megaphone, then someone
Yeah,
who's not
totally.
a scientist is on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to get at before, really, having to get that balance of everyone wants to see great whites and that all week, whatever, but also you can use that platform to get across the other stuff that you
Yeah,
get
it
to
is
do.
hard. They're audiences are getting dumber and dumber and want more instant gratification, especially in America. Sorry, audiences listening. I don't mean us, but the general American audience watching stuff.
Yeah.
It's why it's all reality TV dominated stuff. We're not watching David Attenborough's as much.
Yeah.
The mass audiences just want instant gratification. So it's getting harder and harder to keep that scientific, pure expedition. Let's learn for the sake of learning. But that's where we got to get creative.
Yep.
And you do a lot of the Shark Week filming here in New Zealand.
Lots of it. We're infamous around the world. I don't think many people know that, but we are the #1 great white hotspot on Earth.
We're talking Stewart Island.
Yeah,
Chathams.
people don't like to say Stewart Island because it's the island's off Stewart Island. It's
Yep.
actually only one island off Stewart Island. Just ironically, if you sit in the pub, you can see it. So it kind of scares a few people in that sense.
Wow.
But Stewart Island is one of 6 places on Earth that great whites aggregate.
And why is that? Just because it's freezing?
It's a combination of variables. It's it's got cold
Seals.
water, what?
Seals.
Oh, I thought you said sex. I thought
Oh.
that was a topic you wanted to get to eventually, but you're
We'll
rushing
get there.
into
We'll
it.
get there.
We'll get there, but it is.
Don't rush us. Riley.
Cool.
Don't
I do
rush
call
us.
it a nightclub, so we'll come back to
Okay.
that because it's a place with a lot of variables. So cold water, upwelling food, seals. That's the food chain for great whites.
So more like the kebab store after the nightclub. when you've had
Yeah,
a big
well,
night.
I personally think that they're there for more than just the seals because you get both sexes and you get a wide range of ages, and that's something that doesn't usually come
cougar
together in a
shark?
shark
Well,
world.
yeah,
Sorry?
almost
Cougar
like
shark.
a shark swingers hangout.
Yeah, well, given these animals are generally solitary, they migrate entire oceans by themselves, and when they come together, it can be quite violent. There's a reason why they're aggregating, and so that's very novel, that place, and it's why it's been a fascinating place to work.
So an older female tiger shark's not called a cougar shark. That's
I don't believe so. It's just still called a tiger shark. Yeah, there is no cougar shark. That's kind of surprising.
okay.
But can an older bird of a shark be a cougar? Actually, might have to stop you there, Lee.
Yeah,
Let's
mate.
take a quick break.
Another break.
I believe so, and we'll be back with Riley Elliot.
Fantastic.
Welcome back to Paid to Talk with Lee Hart and Loba Donace, live from the Eco Lodge. And we've got very special guest Riley Elliot, shark specialist. You've done a PhD. The PhD, I believe, was focused on the shark migration, a big sort of passion of yours as well, shark migrations, Lee.
I certainly are. I like to know where they are, if you know what I mean, at any given time. But your profile in America is massive, in this field, isn't it?
Well, it's hard because I'm
How's
not
media?
there.
How's media changing in New Zealand? You're on TV shows in America, probably than you are in New Zealand at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because sorry, Sky, but no one has Sky anymore other than to watch sports, really, and so Discovery Channel gets lost in this, and no one in New Zealand really sees Shark Week a lot. I don't know if New Zealand's aware, but we showcase New Zealand really well on Shark
Totally.
Week.
Yep.
It's a beautiful place. So many people come down here. They have nothing but awesome things to say about it. And I think New Zealand needs more of that. Like Jason Momoa just did something recently saying how proud we should be of who we are and what we enable here in filmmaking. And it's great. But the landscape for New Zealand TV is really hard. You know, like the money is so small and it's getting less and less and less.
Are you getting sponsors yourself personally to help produce these shows? Equipment, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really well supported from like the boating side, from like Extreme Boats, Yamaha, you know, a lot of those guys. And then Mazda's a great sponsor of mine for car stuff, which enables me, I used to do a lot of school talks, educational talks. But everything is just getting tighter and tighter from every industry, that like the opportunities to do these things and do them well is getting harder and harder.
You don't want to buy a jet ski, do you?
No, I got a boat, but yeah, do you have a jet ski?
I just thought it'd be quiet. It's just outside there. It's just been on the trickle charge for about 3.5 years.
Quite rusty.
Yeah.
Is that trailer
It's good. It goes good.
Is that trailer got a warrant?
The trailer hasn't got a warrant, but that's not. It's an easy fix, man.
I think in a roundabout way, Lee was actually wondering how big your social media following is, so that you can share this podcast. He's trying.
Well, I just think the jet ski might be quite good for nipping out to the hot spots.
I could share. Well, I could share this podcast, and then that advertisement for the jet ski will get out there.
Yeah, it's a good ski.
Most of my audience is American, which is good and bad. To be honest, I got stuck in this weird place. Like, I hate influencers. Like, no, sorry guys, but like the lack of brand loyalty is why I hate them.
Yeah,
like just basically will haul themselves out for exposure.
Might just interrupt you there and just go to infomercial.
Oh yeah.
You know, I live a pretty active lifestyle, so if I want a snack, I've got to do it on the go. Introducing Snackajangi, New Zealand's oldest and most trusted potato chips, made from 100% free-range potatoes. Introducing, once again, my favorite prawn cocktail. Tell 'em I sent you. Just joining us, we're talking to Riley Elliot. You were talking about influences, that kind of stuff. Speak.
Yeah, sorry, I said I hate influencers. Probably a bit strong, but what I like is people who stand up for brands that they naturally use or believe in. And it was about brands I believe in, like Icebreaker, you know, like Natural Fibers, great stuff, great New Zealand thing. And then all of a sudden, you know, it became about your social media, how big it was, and you just try and grow it and grow it. And what was growing it was actually the volatility and like the aggressive comments and the bullshit and the blah. And I think just marketing has just got so diluted now to the point that like it's just turnover of crap. And those real brands are really, you know, hard to find the test of time and real people.
You wouldn't believe the amount of sponsors we've turned down for the show for that very reason. You know, the amount of people that tried to come on here.
I don't think we haven't said yes to one sponsor.
Not yet. No, not yet. But you know, it's still early. What does the future look like for yourself in this shark field? I mean, you've obviously been tagging in New Zealand a lot. I've seen that on the news.
Yeah.
Is there another mission you've got in mind?
Yeah. Well, fundamentally, the science is my passion. It's my degree. It's the longevity track. It's what gives substance to the TV stuff that I make, and it is my passion to find out more about these animals. Continuing to tag those great whites and enabling people to track them on the Great White app is a really powerful recipe. But then the TV side I really love. I would like to do more than Shark Week, but right now it's taking up my time. It's a great gig. It's really fun. It's a childhood dream. But I really want to do some TV in New Zealand for New Zealand. I spend a lot of time in the outdoors.
Well, that's harder than it sounds at the moment for anyone in TV. It's such a strange landscape. Really.
It is, but if any producers are out there listening, I'm really ripe and ready for this. It's something I wanted to do for a long time. But more than that, it's because we're so quickly degrading our environment, especially the marine space, and it's just all going the wrong way. And having a kid now, you know, you actually start giving a shit about more of the future for someone else rather than yourself.
So that's changed your way of thinking, you know, 1.5-year-old now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, now I definitely write my Shark Week shows less sketchy. You know, we use cages a lot more. We write it a bit safer.
And but your partner's involved as well in the whole.
Yeah, Amber, my wife, she's an amazing director. Like, she comes from a commercial advertising background. She's an incredible director, photographer.
Do you feel a bit of pressure to write another book that mentions your wife this time?
Yeah, she always reminds me. She reads out off memory the last page of the Ocean Ramsey chapter, but I
won't read it.
No, great. But I enjoyed writing that because it was appropriate to a lot of genres. It's got a lot of good messaging, which is basically, like you said at the start of this, if you're passionate about something, you work freaking hard at it, you know, you can be successful no matter what that is. For me, it's been an incredible journey of doing something that's really novel. But at the end of the day, what I kind of hate is the ocean just keeps getting worse and worse and worse because the big dogs up there don't listen.
I mean, you're seeing the worst side of it as well, kind of thing. You're seeing the best and the worst, I suppose.
Well, I just think, like, in our lifetime, now there's no scallops or crayfish, you know, it's just like, when's the stop point? Like, you go to a restaurant now and scallops are from Japan, and it's just like, it felt like yesterday we were getting scallops. And it's like, why isn't someone doing something about this, you know?
Back to the sharks with the tagging them. Do you feel connection with the sharks that the percentage that you have tagged? What's Big Barry doing down there? I didn't think he was, you know what I mean?
Massively. You all start getting connected to them because you see where they go, and then I try and give some scientific narration like, shit, that shark's going through a hot spot of tuna fishing. And then all of a sudden the tag pops off and you're just like, oh shit, I think it was caught in the troll net. The tag's been ripped off and it's just floating on the surface. But others are doing incredible journeys. Like one right now is in Vavau in Tonga, like right where everyone's whale watching. And then a guy sent me a video of the shark swimming past. And those stories are incredible as migratory stories. And then some of them stay in Stewart Island. Just yesterday, a guy was spearfishing off Stewart Island. He sent me a video on Instagram. Like, look, I just saw your shark. I think it was Waihi. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
You get to finally partake in their secret lives, and you see the gauntlets that they run, and you can emotionally connect to them. Like if they go to the East Australian coast, there's nets and drumlines along that whole coast that murder them. And so you can start telling these real stories about them, and especially the fact, like in South Africa, where the sharks have disappeared, the adverse ecosystem and economic impacts that has had on that entire place.
And I suppose the more people, the public that are paying attention to that as well, it sort of helps the whole problem. They buy into the whole thing.
It's just awareness. Like I say, in New Zealand, we're really good at protecting our land species, but we suck in the ocean. And that's primarily because you're going up against big money fisheries.
Yeah.
The one thing I ask every New Zealander to do is just like, soon we'll be coming back into summer. That's always that frothy time of just, we're going to go to the sea. But like just realizing kind of like very quickly it's changing, and we really got to give it, a lot more kudos than it's getting at the moment.
We should almost end it there because I gave some bad advice a few weeks back, I think, on one of the podcasts to do with the sharks, and it's great to have you here to maybe question it.
What was it?
It was basically if you came close one-on-one with a great white, just to gently squeeze his testicles.
They don't have testicles outside the body, though. So you're just squeezing. What are you squeezing?
Well, there you go. So it's probably a good thing.
They've got two claspers hanging out, so you're just squeezing the shaft.
And that probably wouldn't be a good idea either.
No.
Okay.
But if you're squeezing the shaft, that's not going to deter them, is it? If anything, it's going to encourage them.
Yeah.
Well, or certainly the female sharks wouldn't have testicles, would they? So.
No, they definitely don't.
No, okay. So let's just, if you are listening to that early podcast,
retraction
instead of this one, just forget that.
Yeah.
And just stay calm.
Stare at it, eye contact. Eye contact's key.
And respect them. Respect it's their environment.
Yeah, probably just don't be there in the first place if you don't want to get, head on with the great white. Don't swim in cold seal colony waters dressed up like a surfer, but some of us do, but yeah.
Now I'm just imagining, Lee, you sort of maintaining eye contact with a shark, massaging a shaft.
Yeah.
Not the image I wanted to end the podcast.
I can't get it out of my head right now, though. It was a vivid image.
On that note, if there was one sort of message about sharks that you could leave people with on Shark Week, what would that be?
Sharks don't eat people, man. Like at the end of the day, I think we can all agree they're pretty capable of catching shit and eating shit, and we're pretty crap in the ocean. So we're pretty easy to catch. If they wanted to catch us, they'd be doing it every single day. And so clearly sharks don't eat people. Unfortunately, they make mistakes, but we kill 100 million sharks a year and there's only 30% of them left. So changing that perspective to the fact that we need these animals. They keep oceans healthy. We get every second breath of air we breathe from the ocean, food, entertainment, all that stuff. We need them far more than they need us.
Beautiful.
Great.
Thanks, Riley.
But keep up the good work. And
Thank you.
It's fantastic. It's fascinating. And you're living your dream and doing good work. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, boys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.